Yo, what's good, fam? It's your man Jay. I'm back with another episode of Evolutionary Comics, and this is another episode of What's in My Bag. Alright, so this week I got a fat stack, and let's get into these comics without further ado. Let's get it. Alright, fam, so this week has been a kind of exciting week for comics. A lot has been going on. A lot of craziness with Black Panther 3 as far as the price values with that. A lot of people hating on it and saying that it doesn't deserve that kind of, attention and all this other stuff. Hey, but it is what it is. I'm like, people don't get upset when, there's some other obscure character that's, getting a lot of publicity and their books are going up $200 and $300. Now all of a sudden, little old Black Panther, gets some attention. I'm telling y'all have to be careful, because in my mind it's like they trying to erase the Black Panther character from Marvel. It's not going to be one of them flash in a pan type things. We love Wakanda, we love Shuri, we love that whole culture that, that it displays with Wakanda. But there's a lot of other black superheroes, but there's also only one Black Panther. You've only had one superstar to lead the charge, and that was T'Challa. And we're gonna recast T'Challa, whether they want us to or not. We're gonna recast T'Challa. Anyway, sign that petition. Go over to E-Man Reviews. Check him out. Check out his vlog. I've been watching some of his videos lately and seeing a lot of different things that he's been saying about the whole recast T'Challa movement. And they coincide with everything I believe. So I get a little bit deeper as far as as his importance in the comic books with the Ultimates, with the Illuminati, and him leading the Avengers. We're not just going to erase that particular character and keep it moving. We're happy to have Tosin, who is the new character that's going to be featured. I do believe that the elevation and the value in that book, it does have a lot to do with their desire to just bring a new character in and just say, okay, we'll forget about Black Panther and T'Challa. That ain't gonna happen. Not as long as I'm here, because I waited 50 years to see that character on the screen, and I finally got to see it. So it's gonna be a Blade, it's gonna be a Black Panther, it's gonna be a Brother Voodoo, it's gonna be a Monica Rambeau, Spectrum, Captain Marvel, Photon, whatever you want to call her. It's gonna be a Misty Night. As long as I'm living, and as long as I can keep delivering videos like this and telling everybody in comics, in the comic book culture, about those characters. So, keep riding with me. Off my soapbox. I'm going to get down off the soapbox right now, and we're going to get into these comics. So first up, from Dark Horse Comics, I have Manor Black. And this is the second series of this particular title. And it's written by Cullen Bunn, and the artwork is by Brian Hurt. Real quick synopsis about it. There's this young lady who she has magical powers, and one of her powers is that she's able to manifest fire. And in the first series, she accidentally burned some stuff down, and she was on the run. She runs into this old guy, back off in the woods, and he takes her in, and he kind of teaches her about her powers. His family, they're a family of sorcerers. His family doesn't particularly like it because she's an outsider and he should only be tending the family business or whatever. But, it is what it is. So we're going to see what happens in this second series. I forgot the first one because it's been a while since it came out, all the details. But it was very interesting, so I definitely, when I saw that it was coming out, I wanted to add this to my pull list. So, boom, there it is. Alright, so next up, another book from Mr. Cullen Bunn. I like his work, so he's up there. This time it's from Boom Studios, and this is Basilisk, and this is chapter 7, and it's also being the artwork is by Jonathan Scarth and Alex Gumaries. And this is really good. This is a slept-on book, I believe. I believe people are not really giving it the focus and attention that it deserves. And again, basically it's these individuals who have these superpowers who are using them for evil. And one of the individuals, she's not an evil chick, Miss Reagan, she breaks off from the group, and she is the actual Basilisk. She has that thing where if she looks at you, you turn to stone. So the rest of them have been creating havoc, running amok all over these different communities, and they pissed this one young lady off. They killed her family. So she's out to get back at them. She's out to get revenge. So her and Reagan come across each other's path, and Reagan, you know, kind of lets her know that she wasn't with that nonsense that they were doing. They ended up teaming up. So Reagan is helping her go after these other individuals. So this is about the cat and mouse game of them chasing each other, and them trying to, the good side trying to defeat the evil side. But now they figured out that as each one of these superpowered people die, as when one of them dies, their powers go on to another member of the group. So one member finds this out and is attuned to this and understands this. So she does, you know, what any evil person would do. Check it out. This is a dope book. The artwork is great. And Cullen Bunn is, like I said, he's killing it as far as I'm concerned with these independent comics. So check him out. This is Basilisk Chapter 7. Alright, next on to my DC books. And if you watch a few videos back, you'll see that DC was dominating my stack. But, you know, they were filling my bag, so to speak. But this week, it's only a couple of titles. And as much as I always say I'm not a big fan of the Bat, I always have some Batman in there. This particular story, this is Batman Detective 1051. And this particular series, I don't know what's really going on because I haven't really dug deep into it. But what I have read, it is really good. It's by George Tamaki. And this really is getting deep into the culture of Batman and Gotham. And it's really getting detailed into the different characters that he's coming across. So that is absolutely a definite pickup if you're into the Bat. If you're, you know, into that Batman culture, so to speak, you will absolutely love it. The artwork is great. Everything is dope about this book. So, yeah, anyway, Batman Detective 1051 from DC Comics. And that's followed up with a book that I haven't been reading, but it stays on my pull list. This is Batman 120. And I do believe that somewhere he is getting his ass whooped by the Abyss, which is a new character. And I remember when that new character popped, I think he came on the scene in 117 or 118, but he is a major villain now. So you know, I got to catch up and see what's going on with it, see how the Bat gets out of it. You know, all these new characters are popping up in Gotham. You know, Batman is growing as far as character-wise, and which I love it. I love that about it because you have so many diverse different characters, and, you know, a lot of them that are hating the Bat. But Batman has some allies, too, that are, you know, trying to help him out. So we're going to see what goes on with this when I be able to catch up to my reading. So dig it. Alright, next up we're going to get into this Marvel stack, and with Marvel, this is Sabretooth #1. I definitely was not going to pick this up. I have never been a Sabretooth fan. You know, I dug the X-Men when I was younger, and I used to read different books, you know, with the X-Men in it. Wasn't a super fan of it. But Sabretooth is the arch villain of Wolverine. I forget if they're cousins or how they're related or whatever, but they seem like they always go toe-to-toe. This one is part of the X-Men series, and where Sabretooth was extracted from the human society, and he was allowed to go to Krakoa, but there were some stipulations on it. And I do believe that they have him like, he's able to just wander mentally, but physically his body is locked up where he can't do anything. And I guess this is like something where he's in a dream state, and it's about what's going on in his head. And you know, with mutants, sometimes things that go on in people's head, it actually manifests to the actual life. So not sure if that's going to be a part of it. But the key thing that made me pick this book up is it's a #1, but it's also being written by Victor LaValle. If you remember Victor LaValle, he is the author of Eve, that great series from Boom Studios that came out. It had a lot of fanfare, a lot of people picked up. I went crazy, I'm going to tell the truth. I went absolutely crazy with picking up Eve books, and I have a whole section of a short box that is nothing but Eve books. I have a multitude of #1s. I was even giving them away to my niece, getting her, you know, kind of involved in it and caught up in the storyline and everything. So I'm excited to see what this brings about as well. So I'm gonna check this out today and get into my reading in a little bit. So next, somewhere down the line, I'll be able to tell you. I don't know if it's gonna stay in my pull list, but I definitely had to get the #1 just to see. All right, next up I have the Savage Spider-Man. This is #1, and this is just something that I just decided to pick up. You know, I think it's part of like that nonstop Spider-Man run that came out. I'm not even sure who actually who wrote this particular book. I don't really care. You know, it's not somebody that that kind of pops out in my mind or I would remember it. But I picked up this particular cover because it's kind of like that homage cover from that Todd McFarlane cover with Spider-Man. But the main reason is I picked up this Scotty Young cover. You guys know I love some Scotty Young art covers, and this is pretty dope. So this one I put it on my Instagram the other day, and you know, I got some likes on it, a few likes. Few people follow me on Instagram, which you can too. If you just go over to Instagram, I am Evolutionary Comics, at Evolutionary Comics on Instagram. That's a great way to, you know, communicate with me, to talk to me, send me messages, let me know what you think. If you're not too much, you know, caught up into like putting comments on YouTube or whatever. But yeah, check me out on Instagram, chat me up, and let me know how you're feeling about comics. All right, so next up I have from Marvel, Legends, Black Panther Legends #3. And in this particular issue, his brother, the adopted brother, is basically creating havoc, trying to keep him from coming back to Wakanda, trying to block T'Challa off. They started with this whole thing of a new origin story. I'm not really digging it too much, but as far as like them changing things, but we're gonna see where it goes. That's why I keep picking it up. And yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it until I read it. But yep, that's what that one is about. So that's Black Panther 3, the Legends version, not the one that everybody's going crazy about. Please, you know, please don't get them confused. But it's a decent story. It's just not what I expect as far as right now with them throwing in a different origin story. I absolutely hate when they be changing the origin stories of different characters, because basically it's like, you know, well, we want to throw this in there and we want to change this. It's almost kind of like how they want to change the history books and tell a different version of the story. Let the story be the story, and if you have something different to add, be creative enough as a writer to do that. But I hate that. But anyway, all right, so moving on to my Image books, and this is the 80-page giant of Geiger. And if you remember Geiger, Geiger is also known as the Glowing Man. Buddy right here, he was he was like post-apocalyptic after a radioactive war or something that happened. He was trying to protect his family who was in a bunker. He got exposed, and for years he sat outside the bunker trying to protect his family, not knowing that they were already dead. And he just became a legend because he's the Glowing Man, and he has these special powers or whatever. But it's going to also show, like, you know, different characters. I think Junkyard Joe, which was one of his nemesis in the book, they're going to show his origin story. And the two-headed dog Barney, which was his little buddy that, you know, he got linked up with, that was helping him out, they're going to show that. It shows that the writing is done by Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, Brian Hitch. The artwork is I guess Peter J. Tomasi, just a bunch of people. So it's 80 pages. So, you know, they're going to have a lot in there. So check that out. I do believe that people were like giving a little buzz, saying it's definitely, because it's going to be a lot of first appearances, a lot of origin stories in it, that it is something that's, you know, on people's list to pick up. I particularly like the story about Geiger. I like that run. I had it in my pull list throughout, and I heard that there's going to be I guess a next run, another series to it. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to, you know, to get into that and read that as well. All right, next up I have from Image Comics, I have Ant, and I truly picked up this particular book or this particular character when I saw the first book Mario Gully had written, and the artwork and the anatomy and the physical, you know, presentation of the character, the Ant, as a man, it caught me. It was like, whoa, what the heck? So I read the first couple of books, you know, the ones that Mario Gully wrote. I loved them. I love the artwork in it and everything like this. I'm not so much digging this new one. This is by Eric Larson. I think he actually bought the character from Mario Gully, but I'm trying to give it a chance to see, you know, if it's something that, you know, I want to keep riding with, or if I'm going to dump it off somewhere. But after this issue, after I read this second issue, that's going to be, you know, the telltale sign is if it's something I'm buying just for, you know, nostalgia purposes, because I got all the first runs of it, and the second, I think I got the first run and then the second run that actually was, I think it was Eric Larson and Mario, like a conjunction thing. The story never, you know, got completed. She had some, and the character, she had some crossover with Savage Dragon and also with Spawn as well. So I don't know. We'll check it out. We'll see. We'll give it a chance. But for now, this is Ant number 2, and yeah, from Image Comics. And by the way, it's Image Comics' 30th anniversary year, so that's pretty dope. I don't know if you guys know the history of Image Comics, but it's very, you know, very entertaining as far as the whole story and how they broke away, and how like the main writers and artists moved over from like Marvel, and they left their, you know, main companies, went over and created Image Comics, which I be for that sometimes. I be for that. So, you know, the big company's not doing you right, you go off and create your own. So yeah, I dig that, and I also like the fact that Image kind of deviates from that normal superhero type comic book, and they have some other good stories along with it. So as we see, speaking of good stories that I have no clue about, this is Saga, and it says chapter 55, and it's written by Fiona Apple, and the artwork is by Brian K. Vaughan. All I know is that this was a very big book when it first came out. People were going absolutely bananas. I do know that it was picked up as for a movie, or something big has come along as far as, you know, a movie or a TV series, a Netflix series or something like that. A lot of people were saying how great it is. I haven't actually read it. I did flip through it. I did flip through to there's like a part that's not for kids closer to the end. And, you know, it looks like it's a decent book, but I'm not sure if it's something that I'm going to dig, so I'm going to read it, you know, may pick up another issue, may go back and look at some of the back issues, pick up a trade or something like that, and see how the whole story pans out, see if it's something I like. But I did pick it up simply because I knew that it was coming out, this next series was coming out, and I think it's been about 3 years since this book has been, you know, in circulation as far as the first run. But hey, it is what it is. You know, you don't know till you know, right? Alright, so speaking of sexual stuff, I got Mirka Andolfo, one of my favorite writers and artists, and this is Sweet Paprika number 7. And I haven't been, I've missed out on reading like the last couple issues, been, you know, trying to catch up on reading with other stuff, but this is a very sexually oriented book. I love the covers that she's been doing. I love her artwork. I love the sexuality in the book. That's really dope. Paprika is, if you don't know, she's a big powerhouse as far as she's a company woman. She's a businesswoman, but she's so like entrenched in being a strong businesswoman that her social life suffers, and for social life suffers, then her sexual life suffers. So it's just her way of trying to get from under that, and, you know, trying to be sexually satisfied, socially satisfied, and it's just her story. So it's really dope, and I do see that, you know. Oh, by the way, I think she's a demon, and she's dealing with like other different, you know, mystical creatures or whatever. So it's not humans, but it's, you know, mystical creatures, and that's kind of what Mirka Andolfo does with some of her great books, like Unnatural was the first book that I read of hers, which was absolutely dope. Love that book, one of my favorite books, and I can't wait for another series of that to come out. So Mirka ever sees this, you know what to do. Alright, so next up is one of my favorite books right now. I am absolutely loving this story. This is a Magic Order 2 the second run of the Magic Order. This is actually issue number 4, and I can't wait for that. And I can't wait to read it because, you know, a lot was going on in the first 3 issues. Really caught my attention. It is really dope. It has definitely already been a better series than the first run. So I'm really excited about it. It's being written by Mark Millar and Stuart Eminem. I think that's how you say his name. You know, I've got to make a video and screw up somebody's name somewhere. But either way, it is absolutely dope. I love this particular book. It is one of my favorite books. It is like, I can say that it will be in my top 5 pickups of the week as far as stories go. So definitely check it out. It's about another family of magicians or sorcerers and them doing battle. It has like a little mafia, you know, type vibe to it with people that they're dealing with. They're all basically dealing with each other, fighting over power, you know, and trying to make power moves. So that's what it's about, but it's very entertaining, and some of the characters you really get endeared to them, like Cecilia, who is the leader of the main protagonist family. But yeah, it's dope. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Hit me in the comments right after you hit like and you subscribe to my videos. Hit me in the comments. Let me know all that jazz, and check out the Magic Order. Alright, so next up, moving right along, and I told you this stack was deep. I told you I had a lot of books. Y'all saw how deep it was, but I'm going to try to get through it because I don't have a lot to do today. I have some work to do as far as the video editing that I got to catch up on. But yeah, I'm going to try to do all that. But this is Spawn number 326, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but I love the cover. Cover is pretty dope. It's been, you know, right along with all of the Spawn covers that's been coming out. But I have been reading King Spawn and Gunslinger Spawn. I read them like as soon as I get them, like, you know, in that stack with the Magic Order and stuff like that. I like the series, and I am going to eventually catch up with the regular Spawn series. Know it all ties in together. Still have to read Scorched, which I picked up either last week or the week before. But the whole Spawn universe, it's dope. You know, I'm digging it. So, you know, it is what it is. Alright, so next up, my next 2 books that I'm going to show you are my highlights right along with Magic Order. Like I say, if I picked books to be in my top 5, these are my top 2. Bar none, hands down. And this next one is a new title, and it's by Shobo and Shoff, which are some brothers from Nigeria. And I know they've worked on a couple of other series that kind of, you know, escapes my mind what other stuff they worked on. I may put a graphic down below for you guys to, you know, check out some of their other work. But I think they're like computer game designers or something like that who've gotten into, you know, creating comics. And Shobo is the writer and Shoff is the artist. And this book, New Masters, and this is New Masters number 1. This is a hella dope book. Ola, who is the main character, she is a young girl who's like in a post-apocalyptic world, and they're trying to mine obsidian, which is like it's like a mineral that they're trying to get, and it's going to be used to I guess to power everything, because like there's no power in a lot of places, and it's basically has everything in that post-apocalyptic sense, you know, where there's nothing. So it's all about how they've been adjusting the new society, and a battle is about to break out, and there's going to be one side trying to go after this this obsidian, and this other side, and Ola is going to be caught in the middle. And yeah, it's dope already. I'm really digging it. I love her spunk, her fire. It starts off with her going on this little mission where she's not supposed to be out in this land. Her mom's calling her, trying to tell her, you know, hey, you know, where you at? And she's ignoring her mom's calls. And yeah, so she gets into a little bit of trouble, has some little bit of troubles on the way back, and you know, but she makes it home. If that's a spoiler, sorry if it's a spoiler, but she makes it home. But it's only in time to see a whole bunch of other crazy stuff happening in the book. It's an absolutely great read. I think that it has a lot of potential, and yeah, so I'm loving it. So I'm loving it so much that I picked up the second cover of that as well. And I'm definitely having it added to my pull list because it's a great book, and it's by two Nigerian brothers. It's by some brothers, so I think that's pretty dope. All right, so coming down to the final book in my pickup this week, and I haven't said this guy's name, but he is absolutely my favorite writer right now. And like I said, I was never really into like horror comics, so to speak. But I'm big into sci-fi. I've been a big sci-fi nerd since I was a shorty. I remember reading Octavia Butler's books. My dad had a bunch of Walter Mosley books. I remember being in Tallahassee, and Tanavra Dew came through to do a signing, and I missed it, but I did pick up her book, The Between. So I'm like a super fan when it comes to like stuff like that. This is right here on a different level for me. It is like my foray into horror. It's not even on that level because I hated like stuff about demons and stuff like that. But nevertheless, I have become a huge fan of Mr. Barnes' work. I have dubbed everything the RodneyVerse. So if you hear somebody say that term, just know that it came out my mouth first. And this is Nita Hall's Nightmare Blog number 4. And I think I'm a bigger fan of Nita Hall's than anything because she is a beautiful sister who is about to face a test of her life. If you read the Philadelphia series, she is the ex-girlfriend of James Sangster, and he went off to Philadelphia to bury his father and to find out what happened up there. And he left Nita back at home in Bloody Moor, Maryland. Bloody Moor Murderland as they dubbed it. But she's back in Baltimore, and she is a college professor. And she has this nightmare blog where people can actually, write in their experiences and different things like that with the supernatural world. But she is being hunted by a demon, some creature that is trying to create havoc. And in issue 3, somebody makes a guest appearance to come help her out. Issue 4, it just explodes and like all kind of chaotic things happen. It seemed like when I was reading this particular issue that it was longer than the average 28 to 32 pages of a comic book, but it seemed like it was more to it. And even with that feeling, I was like, I need to read more. I need to keep reading. Like I needed this to be like a full novel or something where I can continue to read because I am truly caught up in this book. It is dope as F, and if you're not reading anything else, this is one of the first books you need to pick up. Go back and get issue number 1. Make sure that you get all the issues. I've been getting them on digital. Make sure that you pick up that Philadelphia as well. I do see big things coming for Mr. Rodney Barnes as far as comics. If you don't know, I think his first comic book that he ever wrote was The Falcon. I have that run. I'm proud of that. And, he's killing it. He's killing it right now. And along with that, I do want to say that if you're watching this video, just know that Rodney Barnes is going to be doing a CGC private signing sometime, I believe, towards the end of March. You have till March 18th to get your books in for him to sign them. He's only doing signings. He's not an artist. He's a writer. So he's only doing signings. But get your books in, get your stuff in, so you can get a piece of history. Because I know that I don't know if many people know this, but there has not been any black writers or artists that have done any private signings at CGC. And I was actually shocked to find this out. And I asked a couple of people that I know at CGC about this, and they confirmed it that there's never been any black writers or black creators. Like there's been actors and actresses that have been part of signings, but there hasn't been any black writers. So I'm saying that to say, let's make this epic. Make this a major event. So if you have any Rodney Barnes books or anything like that, send them in. Get them in early. Make sure that we make this an epic event for him and for CGC, as well as for the blurred culture, because I do think it is a big thing. You guys just don't know how monumental it is. And, hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for the RodneyVerse. And if anybody is watching it that have any powers that be or anything like that, I salute you, because hey, this is what it's about. Blurred culture to the fullest. And like comic book culture as a whole, I'm not gonna just say blurred culture, because comic book culture as a whole, you know, we need this. We need the blurred culture to be infused with mainstream comics, because there was a point, especially when I first created this blog, I was feeling like, you know, there was not a lot out there as far as black comics, not a lot of representation for us. And I know that me and my buddy Tight, we were having a conversation about, you know, not having any true horror movies, black horror movies. You know, it's just like mainstream, but nothing that's focused on like the black culture infused with that horror culture. So you know, this is what it is. So I don't know. I don't really know what else to say, but I am enjoying it. I am going to read this book again. I'm going to try to get through my stacks of new books so I can go back and catch up on some of the old stuff. I hope you guys, I didn't keep you too long. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I get, you know, talkative and long-winded. My wife is like, you know, you only need to make 15-minute videos and whatever. But you see what kind of person I am. I talk. I'm quiet for the most part. I'm an introvert, but if you get me crunk up, hey, just know what you're in store for. Either way, I got some more videos coming out. I have a Miles Morales unboxing coming and a couple of issues I picked up, and I'm gonna leave you with this at the end of this video, and hopefully you'll watch the next video that comes out. But how many of you knew that Miles Morales joined the X-Men? If you don't know, watch the next video. Anyway, continue to evolve. Keep hanging out with your man Jay, and this is Evolutionary Comics. We out.